guys, it's your girl D at the Voice Gathering Live podcast show. Happy Juneteenth. What is up? We are here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate. We normally are not on the show on Saturdays. We are normally on Sundays, but we are going to pay homage to this important day. So important, so important. We finally got it recognized as a national major recognized holiday. Yay, yay. Hats off to President Biden. Thank you so much for stepping up and doing what should have been done many years ago. So I wanted to come on really quickly, guys, wishing all of you a happy Juneteenth and seeing how everybody is doing and celebrating and all those great things. I wanted to let you know that I am so elated on what I'm recognizing in many of the communities and festivals that I've been to, just to see how people are paying homage to this important day, right? Let's be very clear that the people I saw celebrating look like me. They look like me. And guess what? I went other places and they looked like me, and there were some people who did not look like me, coming together in unison, saying that it is important for us to recognize Juneteenth and what it stands for, what it means. 18 people I talked to, which is so important because we're talking about 1865, but the 18 people I talked to on yesterday, a day before this celebration, young people, which is so ironic, it was 18 of those people. And I just like, oh, what a symbolic little thing here. Is that something? We're able to talk so passionately about what it was that they were standing for, why it was important for them to raise their voices, build a union, and get something going in their school to commemorate the important day of this Juneteenth. I just want to say hats off to those young people for standing up, even though they got pushback, which is so funny. They got pushback from people saying, why is this important? Why do you need to have this in the school when we don't have this in the school? And I think people, especially people in positions, for an example, I won't mention the school, but I will mention that a lovely young lady spoke eloquently about being a part of such a big movement and how she and her peers got pushed back because the guidance counselor in this school felt that if you're to have this, then what about the other people that don't have this, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you the guidance counselor? Aren't you the one that should be cheering and supporting and getting those who don't look like those individuals to come on board and celebrate those who have not been celebrated for many years? But I have to tell you, their persistence, their dedication, their commitment, their dreams for a better tomorrow, it showed up. So I salute you. You know who you are. I invited these individuals to come onto the show, so I will let them tell their own story. I'll allow them to introduce themselves without me putting them out there, but they know who they are. So I thank you so much for doing a well job. So today I happened to visit another festival in Mill Creek in South Jersey. And I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. There was good music. There were a lot of vendors there. There were a lot of people proud. You know, there were proud people. You didn't see anything that people try to depict when it comes to Black and brown people getting together to come together for a good cause. These people were, and for lack of a better word, loving on one another and supporting one another. I bought some shirts from vendors there. It was just a beautiful thing. It was so nice. I wanted to just take a quick second. This is a very quick show just to have a conversation, create content, and also hopefully you guys will post a comment about what your experience was on this day. Wherever you were, whoever you talked to, whatever it was for you, I hope that you will come and post your comments on today's show and even create some content for other people to comment about. What was it for you? on this day that was so important that you needed to be a part of it? Because I'll be very honest with you. For me, it was important because I have never heard of Juneteenth until a few years ago. Isn't that sad? It's really sad. I just haven't heard of it. They didn't talk about it in my school. I do not remember ever hearing about it in school. Of course, in college, yes. But in high school, elementary school, they weren't talking about this. And I'm a little bit annoyed by that because why aren't you talking about it? Now, you will be forced to talk about it in some way or form. I do know, and I've heard that schools are kind of pushing back, saying that we're not going to talk about this in this way because then it isolates others from being a part of the conversation. But let me just tell you really quickly, you can actually invite those individuals to be a part of the conversation. You can change what the future will look like by changing what's present right now, right? So for those to come behind your students and come into those schools years later can know that, wow, this is not a shock to me. We've always celebrated Juneteenth. We always take recognition of those individuals in 1865 who in Texas didn't even know they was free slaves until 2 years later after the Civil War. That's crazy. How is it that they were able to hide that? So these slaves stayed enslaved when they were actually free slaves. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But you know, systems work in a way that they want to work to keep people down and oppressed. It is very much absolutely absurd to me that people would try to hide the truth when the truth will set you free. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. We rather hide the truth. You know, this planet, this world could be such a peaceful place if people would stop being selfish, if people would speak the truth about what it is that they know, i.e. Juneteenth, and its embodied importance of our history that needs to be shared amongst the people and not just black and brown people, people of all shades. It's important for our children and their children that's going to come behind us to know what history was and the truth about the history and not the jaded history that people want us to believe. You know, I can't think of this woman's name, and I swear I'm going to, what is her name? I know you guys are going to know who I'm talking about. She's she's very radical in her thinking. She is very much about, she's a Republican because she believes that the Democrats are just trying to keep people, especially black and brown people, enslaved in their thinking. But and I apologize, I can't think of her name. Her name escapes me, and I don't want to be looking on my phone trying to look for it. But I just want to tell you that it's very funny that, you know, I'm sorry, I have to find this woman's name, because you're going to know who I'm talking about. I actually follow her just to make sure that I am aware of what she's speaking. I don't have a problem with people speaking their truth, but I have a problem with people speaking their truth and they want you to change what your truth is. Thank you so much, Rob. Candace Owens. So she says that she's not going to be celebrating Juneteenth because it just separates and create this one-way thinking of really keeping us enslaved, opposed to we already being free, right, in our thinking. She's not going to celebrate it. She's going to celebrate July 4th, as she always had. And I wonder what you think about that. What do you honestly think about someone like this? And we all know that Candace Owens, if you don't know her, look her up. She's very strong in her thinking. She's been on many platforms talking about what her thoughts are and how we need to wake up and see the reality of what it is. But I think people can actually be a little bit more, or we could be a little bit more receiving of information if you know how to deliver the information. right? I think people are so passionate, and I don't have anything. I'm a passionate person when I speak, i.e., these hands moving around. People can be very passionate in their thinking. That's okay, but your delivery has to be skilled, right? Your passion can't override your delivery, because if it overrides your delivery, then the message you're trying to convey is missed. Candace Owen has a way of insulting people about their thinking, which is no different than what Donald Trump did when he was sitting in the White House, right? And many other people on many platforms across many forms of communication had this way of saying, I'm so passionate about, I need you to get the truth, that you are looking like a fool out there. Well, baby, now you just called me a fool and insulted me because I have a way of thinking. And you know what? You just lost me. So I just have a problem with that. So Candace Owens, yes, I agree. She speaks a lot of nonsense because she does not know how to speak away to the people. Let's look at it from this lens. When Dr. Martin Luther King was speaking, when Malcolm X was speaking, when so many of our other big voices in the communities were speaking for rights for Black and brown people, they spoke in a way that you could receive it. Now, if you didn't receive it, it's because you did not want to receive it. I think people want to know what Candace Owens is talking about, but her delivery just is insulting. And I guess she probably feels that way, because when people are booing her and saying, we're just not going to listen to this, she feels insulted. But if you take that platform to say, I'm going to sit on this platform, I'm going to give you information so that you can have an aha moment. And from that information, you can then say, listen, let me rethink about how I've been viewing things for so long. You could do that without insulting people, right? You can do that in a way that is passionate and communicative. You don't have to be insulting at all. So, she's going to celebrate July 4th, and I am not going to be celebrating July 4th. July 4th for me has always been, as a child, it was about fireworks. As a child, it was about the fireworks. It was nothing else but the fireworks. And then as I got older, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. You want me to recognize all of the sacrifices that people have made for people, but when there was a time, and still is a time, when they didn't see Black and brown people as people, right? So you want me to adopt or continue to adopt that thinking, that mindset of saying, I'm going to celebrate July 4th, but they wouldn't even recognize me and my people. I don't understand it. And listen, for Candace's comment, I don't need someone to tell me that they were not looking at us. They weren't. They looked at us as property. That's what they looked at us as. We were workmen for them. We were slaves for them. We did their work. We didn't willingly say, take us and enslave us and, beat us and kill our men and rape our women. We didn't say any of that. We didn't come to this place and say, this is how we want to be treated. Right? And when we were treated that way, there were many people, of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, were begging to not be treated that way. So Candace, you have every right to celebrate July 4th. Go get you some fireworks, honey, set them off and do you. But don't be disrespecting people when they say they're not going to be celebrating it. Just bow out gracefully and say, okay, have a great time and move forward. Because I can't find any content where Candace is talking in a way that's not insulting. And again, don't get me wrong. I am okay when people disagree with me. I am okay with it. It's how you disagree that can rub me wrong. And that doesn't mean you don't need to be passive either. Right? You can say, I respectfully disagree. And let me tell you why I disagree. But just to say I disagree and then cut me off and say, I don't hear what you, well, baby, that's just not going to work for me. It's just not going to work. Nobody cares about that chick except the people on the right. Huh? And maybe she is doing the work for the right wing. I don't care. I do care. Let me take that back. I do care. I really do care. Because if you're doing work directly or indirectly for the right wing, the right side of the aisle, but they're not for the people, right? For fairness, for justice, for equality, inclusion. If they're not for the people, then yeah, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't. If you're not trying to hear what I'm trying to say while I stand in my position, then I don't care to sit down and waste time and have a conversation that's probably not going to go anywhere. It's just going to spin wheels. So this show, again, is not about Candace Owens, but people like her. I'm going back to what I was saying about the young woman at this high school who told me that she was part of a union and they had a number of months, 2 to 3 months, to put together their Juneteenth celebration. And she was passionate. I am going to incorporate the video in this show to show you about how passionate she was. She was the vice president of the union, the Black Society Union, and I hope I'm quoting their union right. When I tell you she was so on her game, it's the Black Student Union. And when I tell you this young lady spoke eloquently, she was able to get her points across. She was transparent in saying that she was met with opposition and that she was her and her peers were getting pushed back, and then their principal, who is not Black and brown, I don't know what his thoughts were before then, but I would tell you that when I met him, his thoughts were on board. He was asking me the right questions. He asked me what I thought. He asked me if I believed they did their job well, and they did. The staff there, the teachers there, the faculty, they were there, I guess, to oversee what was going on, but they allowed these young people to take charge and get the job done. And you know what? Even if that clip is not on my show today, later on after we do some editing, I will definitely put that clip on our Instagram platform. So make sure you're following us on Voices Gathering Live on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter so that you can see other content that we're talking about. I will be showing some pictures from the Juneteenth celebrations I went to today. I just got back from that a few hours ago, as well as the one I went yesterday. It was amazing. I want to also let you know that if you want to get this shirt, many people was asking me about this shirt. How can I get this shirt? How can I get this shirt? The shirt, I'm going to turn around. You probably can't see. I will do a little turnaround just so you can see. So on the shirt, it also has my podcast show name on it, Voices Gathering Live, our logo there. If you want to get a hold of this shirt, by all means, definitely leave a comment. Get you this shirt. When I tell you I was out today, I didn't wear the shirt yesterday because it was a last minute finding out about this Juneteenth and the school. So I wanted to not miss it. It was only for a few hours, and I wanted to jump right into that and see what it was. However, today I wore the shirt and got it, the shirt customized and made. And I have to tell you, so many people was like, oh my gosh, no one had the shirt. Right? And you're not going to find this shirt like this. So if you would like to get this shirt, by all means, definitely drop me a line in the chats. Let me know that you want this shirt, and I will make sure you get you this shirt so that you can rock it next year for Juneteenth. Also, make sure you take some pictures in the hashtag Voices Gathering Live podcast, and make sure that we see what you're wearing, what you're rocking. We want to definitely share that picture on our platforms here. Again, I want to say well done to all those people, these individuals who put together, and if you get your sidebar, if you get your Google just Juneteenth celebrations, a list of celebrations across so many towns and states. I mean, when I tell you, it was amazing just to see. So I encourage you that if you're not involved in Juneteenth, if you don't understand what it is, if you don't know why it's important, please do your homework. Figure it out. Be an ally to this move. I wouldn't call it a movement. Maybe some people would call it that. It's a holiday now. We're celebrating it, and you can't do nothing about it now. It's set in stone. We are going to come together. We welcome you to get on board with us and be a part of this there I go, this movement again, and honoring it. If you want to celebrate July 4th as well as celebrating Juneteenth, do that. But please don't frown upon us who do celebrate this occasion and no longer celebrate July 4th. You guys got us for July 4th for far too long now. Come on over to this side and celebrate with us. Maybe we can celebrate them together, but there has to be some common ground here. I want to thank each and every one of you for already, I'm going to say it in advance, posting a comment, sharing this show. Click the share button. We are trying to build our viewers here, and listen. We are doing what we need to do. No longer will we stand in a position of saying, I'm sorry that we didn't do what. No. We're looking ahead. We're staying empowered and encouraged. We're commanding this day. We're saying that this show will be the show that is meant to be. It's going to be the little engine that could. It did that, right? So I am happy about the progress we made. To all of my new subscribers, thank you so much for following the show on all platforms. Thank you for showing up, posting comments. Thank you for clicking the like button. Thank you for always sharing the content to your personal pages. We really appreciate that. We're just getting started. We'll always be just getting started, because when one day start and end, a new day begins, and it's time to take control of that day. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Don't forget, get your t-shirt, give us a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, and always remember that if there's no pressure, there's no diamonds. And I use this platform to move mountains. I use my voice to speak up and be unapologetic. So I hope you would do the same. Until next time, we will catch you on our next show. Check us out. Be good, and don't forget, rock on Juneteenth.